If your goal is to make a bunch of money and to live a happy, simple life, knowing that your investments are working for you, even while you get to go on with your life, this video is for you. I'm sure you all know about investing principles, buying low and selling high and all of that. However, for those of us who do not, here's a breakdown. The first thing you must know is that naturally, as time passes, the value of money reduces. The value of $1 today is not what it was in 1930. This is generally known as inflation, meaning saving your money will become a problem over time. To prevent our money from losing value over time, we are presented with the idea of investing. So what are the ways people generally invest their money? Depending on the person you ask, we all have different ideas of what we feel is the best place to invest our money, all of which has pros and cons. The general ones include real estate, stocks and bonds, gold, among other things. So I guess this answers the question of why people invest rather than just saving their money. Let's start by mentioning Warren Buffett, who is considered as the godfather of value investing, and the biggest secret from his playbook is long-term investing, as opposed to short-term investing. The stock market's origins trace back to the 17th century with the establishment of the Amsterdam Stock Exchange in 1602, which is often cited as the first formal stock market. It was created for trading shares of the Dutch East India Company, the first company to go public. So from this, we can see the stock market is older than you and I. So one thing is sure, even if there's a bear market, the market is sure to bounce back up. So this is probably a good time to mention the bullish and bearish market. A bull market is a sustained period of rising prices and investor optimism, typically coinciding with a strong economy, while a bear market is a sustained period of falling prices and investor pessimism, often linked to a receding economy. And in a bear market, the supply of securities exceeds demand, leading to a drop in prices. History is characterized by both markets. One thing is sure, both markets come and go. Now, the general idea with the stock market is to buy low and sell high. So why do people rush to sell when we are in a bear market, as opposed to recognizing the opportunity? We believe this to be emotions. And one thing great investors have in common is knowing how to control their emotions. Billionaire investor Warren Buffett is well known for applying the strategy of value investing regardless of the type of market currently being experienced, where he looks over a company's fundamentals, the assets they own, their liabilities, the actual book value of the company, and invests in companies that he feels are undervalued, which is very similar to buying low and selling high. There are also those who practice short-term investing. These are usually institutions. However, I will be assuming our viewers are retail investors and not institutional investors. Now we have to consider those who have no ideas on how to read the best stocks to buy and fear getting in on the wrong stocks. That's where index funds come in. An index fund is a type of investment fund that aims to match the performance of a specific financial market index, such as the S&P 500 or the FTSE 100, rather than trying to beat it. This is achieved by holding all or a representative sample of the securities, stocks, bonds, etc., that make up the index. The S&P 500, which stands for the Standard & Poor 500, is a stock market index tracking the stock performance of 500 leading companies listed on stock exchanges in the United States. In the UK, we have the FTSE 100, an index that tracks the top 100 companies listed on the London Stock Exchange. Indexes like this exist to give us a clear picture of how the stock market is performing overall. Take the Vanguard S&P 500 ETF, for example. It holds every company inside the S&P 500 index, but you can buy it the same way you'd buy any regular stock. When you purchase a single share of this ETF through your broker, your money is automatically spread across all 500 companies that make up the index. Instead of buying and managing shares in hundreds of individual companies, the ETF does all the heavy lifting for you. It might look like you own just one stock, but behind the scenes, it's actually a basket of many. Even better, when a new company joins the S&P 500 index, it's added to the ETF automatically. No action needed on your part. That's why many personal finance experts and YouTubers recommend ETFs like the S&P 500. They're considered relatively safe, passive, and effective options for long-term investors. Understanding realistic market returns. When people first enter the stock market, they often hear stories of investors who doubled their money overnight or turned small amounts into a fortune through perfectly timed trades. But the truth is far less glamorous. For most long-term investors, realistic returns from the stock market fall between 6% and 10% per year on average. This doesn't mean you earn 6 to 10% every year. Some years are negative, some years explode upward, and others stay flat. But over decades, this is what the market tends to deliver. Those averages are built on a history filled with both incredible growth and devastating crashes. Crashes always feel shocking, but they are not new. They are part of the cycle. And despite every crash in history, the market has always recovered. But recovery takes time, patience, and emotional discipline. This leads to one of the most popular pieces of advice in investing: buy the dip. And while it sounds easy, the reality is much more complicated. Buying the dip simply means purchasing a stock or index after the price has fallen. In theory, this makes sense. Lower prices mean better value. But in practice, buying the dip is extremely hard. Here's why. You never know if the dip is the bottom. Stocks can fall 5%, then 10%, then 30% more. Fear clouds judgment. When a stock is falling, most people panic rather than buy. Some companies never recover. Not every dip is temporary. Some businesses fail entirely. Emotion leads to bad timing. People often buy too early or too late, driven by fear or FOMO. This is why most successful long-term investors don't try to time the perfect dip. Instead, they invest consistently, month after month, no matter what the market is doing. When prices are high, their money buys fewer shares. When prices are low, they buy more. Over decades, this strategy smooths out the risk of guessing wrong. And that brings us to one of the most important principles in all of investing. Only invest what you can afford to lose. So to start investing, I want you to follow the following steps. Step 1. Build your foundation. Before investing, fix your finances. Pay off high-interest debt like credit cards. Build an emergency fund, 3 to 6 months of expenses, and stabilize your income with a budget. If you're just starting out, invest in yourself first. Skills and education often double your earning power faster than any stock. Step 2. Know yourself. Define your goals: retirement, house, freedom. Be honest about your risk tolerance. Can you handle big drops without panicking? Consider your time horizon. Younger investors can take more risk. Older investors need to protect what they've built. Step 3. Define rich for you. Decide whether wealth means security, peace of mind, stability, or luxury, cars, houses, travel. Your definition shapes your strategy. Conservative index funds for stability, riskier ventures if you want fast wealth. Step 4. Start with stocks. Open an account. Use retirement accounts, 401k, IRA, for long-term tax benefits, or a brokerage account for flexible goals. Always grab employer matches first. It's free money. Step 5. Begin small and consistent. Don't wait for perfect timing. Start with an amount you're comfortable losing, even $50 or $100. Consistency matters more than size. Monthly investing builds habits and compounds over time. Step 6. Use index funds first. Skip individual stocks at the start. Buy S&P 500 index funds or ETFs. They're diversified, low cost, and historically reliable. Warren Buffett recommends this simple approach for most people. Step 7. Diversify over time. As your portfolio grows, add real estate for rental income and appreciation, and commodities like gold as insurance against inflation. Spread your money so one crash doesn't wipe you out. Step 8. Automate everything. Set up automatic monthly investments and leave them alone. The biggest enemy isn't the market, it's emotional decisions. Patience beats panic. Step 9. Stay calm in crashes. Markets will fall, sometimes 20 to 30% or more. But history shows every crash recovers stronger. Don't panic, keep investing, and trust the process. Before leaving, I know it's a common thing to want to invest in the stock market and the likes, but I must also remind you that it is important not to forget about investing in yourself, as that is one of the most important of them all. Thanks for watching. Do not forget to subscribe.